So a pleasant afternoon to each and everyone, especially to you, Ma'am Merly. So for today, we are the group 2 and we will discuss about the chapter 7 of the microbiology, micro, micropara. So the title of the chapter 7 is also called as fungi pathogenic to man. Next slide, please.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. We are going. Oh, go back, please. The learning objectives. Okay. Uh, can you go back? Uh, the learning objectives. In this lesson, we will identify the different characteristics of fungi. We will describe the different species of fungi that bring about diseases in man. We will discuss the various processes associated with the ability of specific fungi to produce disease and describe the various activities essential in prevention and control of such microbial growth. Next, please. Oh, thank you. Fungi are eukaryotic non-vascular organisms that reproduce by spores. Uh, they contain chitin in their cell walls, and they could either be unicellular, like yeast, or multicellular, like molds with hyphae. Uh, there are approximately 70,000 recognized species, and about 300 of them cause human infections. Fungal diseases are increasingly problematic due to antibacterial and immunosuppressive agents. Uh, They are usually benign in healthy humans, but they could be life-threatening in at-risk groups. Fungi are eukaryotic organisms with chitin-containing cell walls. They can be unicellular, like yeast, or multicellular, like molds with hyphae. There are approximately 70,000 recognized species, and 300 of them cause human infections. Fungal diseases are increasingly problematic due to antibacterial and immunosuppressive agents. Usually, they are benign in healthy humans, but they could be life-threatening in at-risk groups. Next, please. Next, we are going to discuss fungal infections.
Wala klase. Tuman.
Fungal infections are also called mycoses, and they occur when fungi invade and grow in human tissue.
Jadi magtintin kasi kuya ano tanda kayo?
Range from mild skin infections to life-threatening systemic infections.
May
Fungal
ilalakad.
infection have been generally classified according to the depth of tissue involvement or to the extent of systematic involvement.
Ako lagi lang iisip ko.
These are as follows. Superficial fungi infections. Cutaneous mycotic. Oh no, go back please.
Ano may scan nila sa CHED mo. May banda kayo.
Subcutaneous mycosis and systemic mycosis. Let's discuss with the first, superficial fungal infection.
Register na sila.
Next, please.
Oo, naka-register na kami.
Estudyante.
Oo, kayo.
Superficial fungal infections affect only the outermost skin layer, which is the stratum corneum, or the hair follicles.
Oo, kayo
They are usually cosmetic problems, and they rarely trigger any immune responses. Infections can occur accidentally through catheters or IV lines.
Pati namin ngalan-ngalan yung dala.
Their pathogenic mechanisms are not yet well understood. So sometimes when they are infected, patients are accidentally infected via. The second classification is cutaneous mycotic infections, though you may not see it on the presentation.
1.5 sa isang
Involve fungi that colonize the skin, hair, and nails on the living hosts. These fungi possess greater invasive properties than the superficial fungi, but are limited due to keratinized tissues. They can cause a wide spectrum of diseases from mild scaling to generalized and highly inflammatory disorders. The disease producing potential depends on various factors: the species of the organism, the immunologic status of the host, the type of clothing worn, and the type of footwear used. Trauma also plays an important role in infection. These organisms gain entry through traumatized or macerated skin, and they multiply by producing keratinase to metabolize keratin.
Okay.
The reason they do this, the reason they do not spread is not known, but it is speculated that cell-mediated immunity and the presence of transferrin and serum inhibit fungal propagation to deeper tissues.
Sila hindi man niya kasunod.
Some dermatophytes have evolved a commensal relationship with the host mechanisms, but they do not cause any systemic disease. Can you go back, please?
Hindi ko banglit dyan.
Yan.
Pinanda yung kinig.
Is subcutaneous mycoses.
Ngayon kasi,
These include infections caused by fungi that are abundant in the environment and have a low degree of infectivity. These organisms gain access to subcutaneous tissues through traumatic implantation. Little is known about the mechanisms of pathogenesis.
kailangan
Histopathologic evidence indicates they survive by producing proteolytic enzymes.
who have not registered.
Subcutaneous mycoses maintain a facultative microaerophilic existence
Kaya ang gusto
because
kong
of the lowered redox potential of the damaged tissue.
sa portal.
And the last but not the least is systemic mycoses.
Itawag mo si Rin.
Only 6 fungal agents have the innate ability to cause infection and disease in humans and other animals. The primary site of infection is the respiratory tract. To successfully colonize the host, these organisms must survive at body temperature and either elude phagocytosis, neutralize hostility, or adapt to multiply. Several factors contribute to infection and pathogenesis. First is dimorphism. This is the ability to change from a mycelial to a unicellular morphology when they invade tissues. It is induced by the temperature shift to 37 degrees Celsius. The cells enter a period of dormancy, during which spontaneous respiration is maintained at a decreased level. Then there is a shift into a recovery phase, during which transformation to yeast morphology is completed. Second, defense against host phagocytosis. This is achieved through protective capsules which allow fungi to live in the hostile cellular environment of the lungs, and through neutralization of reactive oxygen metabolites produced by phagocytic cells. To successfully colonize the host, these organisms must survive at the elevated temperature of the body. They must either elude phagocytosis, neutralize the hostility they encounter, or adapt in a manner that will allow them to multiply. There is very little information about mechanisms of fungal pathogenicity compared to bacterial pathogenesis. Fungal pathogenesis is complex and it involves many factors, and studies are needed because of the increasing incidence of these opportunistic infections. Now we will have the next reporter to discuss these superficial fungi pathogenic to man. Thank you.
So, what exactly are superficial fungi? Unlike other fungal infections that go deeper into tissues, these guys stick to the topmost part of our skin, or the cuticle of our hair. They're often more of a cosmetic concern than a serious health threat, but they're still super important to recognize and understand. Next po. Next po. Hortail Wernicke is a common superphytic fungus found in soil and compost within humid tropical regions, and it is primarily causative agent of Steinlegia, a superficial skin infection. Clinically, it represents a stainless, brown to black macules, typically located in the palms of the hands or soles of the feet, which can often be mistaken for more serious skin conditions. So, next, fortunately, the infection is easily managed with topical treatments such as Whitfield's ointment or imidazole antifungal creams to ensure the fungus is fully eradicated from the outer skin layers. These treatments must be applied daily for a consistent period of 3 to 4 weeks. Next, next, Malassezia furfur is a lipophilic yeast that exists as part of normal skin flora. In the majority of healthy individuals, particularly in oily areas where sebaceous gland activity is high, microscopically characterized by thick-walled budding yeast cells and short angular hyphae, often described as having a spaghetti and meatballs appearance. This fungus is the causative agent for conditions like pityriasis versicolor, seborrheic dermatitis, and dandruff. Next po. Infection is most prevalent in warm, humid climates and can even lead to rare cases of fungemia in patients receiving lighted therapy. Management involves topical antifungals such as ketoconazole shampoo, selenium sulfide, or zinc pyrazine, with oral medication like zinc, uh, like itraconazole reserved for severe cases. Balik po, balik pa po. Because relapse is frequent, maintenance therapy is often required, and patients should be advised that skin discoloration may persist for months even after fungus has been successfully treated. Next po. Phaedra hortae is an Ascomycetus fungus responsible for black Phaedra, a superficial infection specifically targeting the hair shaft, predominantly found in tropical regions like Central and South America and Southeast Asia. It manifests as multiple hard, black nodules that cling to the hair and most commonly on the scalp, but occasionally affecting the beard and mustache or pubic hair. Next po. Next po. This condition is frequently seen in young adults and can produce contaminated scalps or hairbrushes. Management often involves the physical removal of the fungus by shaving or cutting the hair short, supplemented by pharmacological treatment such as terbinafine, taken once a day for a duration of 6 weeks. Next po, Trichosporon bignum is the causative agent of white hydra, a superficial and primarily cosmetic fungal infection of the hair shaft that occurs worldwide through it is most prevalent in tropical and subtropical regions. Next po. Unlike the hard, dark nodules of Blackphagia, this condition is characterized by soft, grayish white nodules that typically affect the hair in the axilla or underarm areas. It is most frequently diagnosed in young adults and generally does not cause damage to the underlying tissues. The simplest and most effective management is shaving the affected hair, which can be supplemented with topical imidazole antifungal agents to prevent reinfection. So now let me move to the second.
Now we have here the cutaneous mycotic pathogenic tumor. Cutaneous mycosis are fungal infections that affect the skin, hair, and nails of humans. They are usually caused by a group of fungi called dermatophytes. These fungi live on keratin, the protein found in the outer layer of skin, hair, and nails. Next, please. Dermatophytes are fungi that cause dermatophytosis of the scalp, skin, and nails. They are unique because they can digest keratin using an enzyme called keratinase, allowing them to live on hair, skin, and nails. Unlike most fungi, the dermatophytes do not invade living tissue. Instead, they colonize the outer skin layer. However, their presence and metabolic byproducts can trigger allergic and inflammatory response in the host. Additionally, they rely on human or animal hosts to survive and spread, so infection is crucial to their life cycle. Next. They do not invade living tissue but can induce allergic and inflammatory responses in hosts and depend on colonizing humans, animals, or soil to survive. To better understand their transmission behavior and impact, they are classified into three main categories based on their preferred natural habitats. First is the human dermatophytes. These fungi prefer humans and cause most human infections like athlete's foot or scalp ringworm. Next, we have here the examples: the Epidermophyton, Flocosum, Trypophyton, rubrum, Interdigitail, Tonsurans, Violation, Concentration, Schoenlein, Sodinens, Microsporum, Odonite, and Ferruginium. Second is we have the zoophilic dermatophytes. These fungi live in animals and can spread to humans if there's contact offend, causing more inflammatory reactions. Next. Third is we have the soil dermatophytes. These fungi normally live in soil, but humans or animals can get infected if they touch contaminated soil. Infections are less common. This classification system helps providers identify potential sources of infection, predict the severity of symptoms, and choose appropriate treatment approaches. Next. These fungi are the causative organisms of the following. First is the Tinea pedis, a contagious fungal infection of the skin on the feet, often causing itchy, scaly, and cracked skin, particularly between the toes. The second one is the Tinea, Tinea onguio. We also have here the Tinea corporis, a contagious superficial fungal infection of the skin on the body caused by dermatophytes. It typically causes a circular, itchy red rash with a scaly, raised border and a clearer center. Next, next, please. We also have here the Tinea pabalik. We also have here the Tinea capitis, a contagious fungal infection of the scalp and hair shafts, primarily affecting children. It causes itchy, scaly, bald patches, often leading to hair loss. Next is the Tinea cruris. It is the infection of the groin area. It's caused by tri- tri- Trichophyton rubrum, Trichophyton interdictale, Epidermophyton floccusum. The symptoms are the red itchy rashes in the groin. We also have here the Tinea barbae, also called barber's itch. It is a dermatophyte infection affecting the beard area in adult men only. The symptoms of this are the superficial annular ring-shaped rashes may form a buggy carrion leading to scarring and hair loss. The last one is the Tinea manus, also known as hand ringworm. It is a fungal infection of the hands, often part of the 2 feet, 1 hand syndrome. Next. We have here the prevention and control. First is the personal hygiene. It keeps the skin clean and dry, especially feet, groin, and skin folds. Dry well after bathing, change socks and underwear daily, and avoid sharing towels, clothes, combs, and shoes. Second is the proper clothing. Wear loose, breathable clothing, use cotton socks, and avoid tight and sweaty shoes for long periods. Third is the foot care, especially for tinea pedis. It keep feet dry. Use antifungal powder if prone to sweating. Wear slippers in public showers, pools, and locker rooms. Fourth is animal and environmental control. Treat infected pets. Avoid contact with infected animals. Maintain cleanliness of floors, bathrooms, and shared areas. Fifth is the early treatment. It uses prescribed topical antifungals. Severe severe cases may require oral antifungals and complete the full course of treatment to prevent recurrence. Next, please. We have here the Candida species. Fungal infection caused by Candida yeast ranges from superficial to life-threatening systemic disease, bloodstream, heart, and brain. Normally lives harmlessly but overgrows when conditions allow. Next, please. Now, who's at risk for this candida species? Newborns, elderly, HIV or AIDS, cancer patients, diabetics, antibiotic users, hospitalized with catheters. Fourth most common bloodstream infection in US hospitals. 3 and 4 in 4 women get vaginal yeast infection in lifetime. The common types of these are the oral thrush, es- esophageal candidiasis found in 30 to 55% of healthy adults. Next. Now, the first one is the skin and mouth infection. This category covers superficial infections affecting the oral cavity, skin folds, and nails. We have here the oropharyngeal infections include conditions like white patches on the tongue, red swollen tongue, stomatitis, and angular cheilitis. These are common in newborns, the elderly, people with diabetes, those with HIV or AIDS, and individuals who have recently taken antibiotics. We also have here the cutaneous infections. It occurs in moist areas such as armpits, groin, under breast, between fingers, and as diaper rash in babies. Its triggers include moisture, heat, obesity, and diabetes. Rashes typically develop in these warm, damp folds of skin. And we have here the nail infections. Nail infections is the paronychia can affect areas like armpits, under breast, and is linked to diaper rash in babies, often tied to prolonged moisture exposure. Next. Second, second is the genital and chronic infections. These infections target the genital area or persist long term, often in specific high risk groups. Vulvovaginal candidiasis affects females, causing itching, burning, and thick white discharge. It is common during pregnancy in those taking antibiotics or with diabetes. Next is the balanitis. It affects males, causing redness and itching on the penis. It is more frequent in uncir- it is more frequent in uncircumcised men. And the chronic mucocutaneous candidiasis, a long-term infection of the skin, nails, and mouth. It is seen in children with hormonal disorders like hypoparathyroidism, additions disease, hypothyroidism, or diabetes. In severe cases, it causes candida granuloma, thick crusted and wart-like skin lesions. Next, please. Third is the digestive and respiratory infections. These are more serious, affecting internal organs and often occurring in vulnerable populations. We have here the esophageal candidiasis. It causes pain when swallowing and burning chest pain. It is most common in AIDS and cancer patients whose immune systems are weakened. Pulmonary candidiasis, a lung infection with pneumonia-like symptoms affecting the respiratory system. Next is the gastrointestinal candidiasis. It leads to abdominal pain, diarrhea, and vomiting. It occurs in immunocompromised individuals and those on antibiotics. We also have here the neonatal candidiasis. It is seen in premature babies, causing red rashes that can potentially affect the brain or kidneys if not treated promptly. Next, we have here the urinary or and organ infections. Organ infections. UTIs, bladder infections cause burning, urination, frequent urge, and lower abdominal pain. Kidney infections bring fever, chills, flank pain, and vomiting. Cardiac. We have here the cardiac and the endocarditis. It leads to fever and heart murmurs. Risk factors include IV drug use and heart disease. Meningitis. It is rare but serious brain infection with fever, headache, stiff neck, and confusion. I. It spread via bloodstream, causing blurred vision, redness, and pain. The joint. It affects knees, hips, shoulders. Symptoms include pain, swelling, warmth, and redness. And we have the organ spread. It can travel through the bloodstream to affect the liver, spleen, and intestine. Next. Next, Jaren. And the last one is the bloodstream and other infections. We have here the candidemia. Candida in the blood causes antibiotic and responsive fever, spreads to organs, and is life threatening. Risk factors of this are weak immunity, diabetes, antibiotic or steroid use, IV catheters, and moist skin areas. Prevention or treatment of this is to keep skin dry, control diabetes, avoid unnecessary antibiotics. Mild causes use topical or oral antifungals. Severe cases need IV antifungals and like amphotericin B or fluca- fluconazole.
Subcutaneous mycosis, commonly caused by fungi found in the environment, as in from soil and plants. It has low infectivity and enters the body through traumatic implantation, basically from cuts, wounds, and splinters. Subcutaneous mycosis affects subcutaneous tissues. Pathogenesis not well understood. Living in low oxygen, damaged tissue, infection stays slow, growing and localized. Does, it does not cause systematic disease.
Next slide, Jaren. So let us now proceed to this one. So a pleasant afternoon to each and everyone again, especially to you, ma'am. Today, my report focuses on a specialized group of fungal infections, also known as the subcutaneous mycosis, pathogenic to man. So when we say subcutaneous, it means ang mga fungi na ito ay umaatake sa ilalim ng ating balat, specifically the dermis, subcutaneous tissues, and sometimes even the bones. They are generally caused by saprophytic fungi, meaning they live on dead organic matter like soil, thorns, and wood. Ang pinaka-common na paraan ng pagkahawa rito ay through traumatic implantation. Basically, kailangan matusok o masugatan ang balat para makapasok ang fungus into the dermis or subcutaneous tissues. Once they are inside, they grow slowly and can become chronic, sometimes lasting for years kung hindi po ito maaagapan. Next slide, please. So let's now start first this one. The chromoblastomycetes. So chromoblastomycetes are dark pigmented, also known as dematiaceous fungi commonly found in soil and decaying vegetation. They are the causative agents of chromoblastomycosis, a chronic fungal infection of the skin and subcutaneous tissues. As you can see naman sa image nandito, na yung pigment niya po talaga is dark and matatagpuan po sila sa lupa at mga nabubulok na halaman. So let me tell you some key characteristics. So ang sakit na dulot nito again is chromoblastomycosis, as you can see sa PPT. It is a chronic infection na makikita natin sa verrucous o yung parang wart-like skin lesions na dahan-dahang lumalaki. Let us now talk about the microscopic hallmark. So, napaka-importante nito sa exam or diagnosis kasi ang presence ng sclerotic bodies or medlar bodies. Ito yung mga brown, thick-walled cells na mukhang copper pennies. And the common species naman po ay nandyan ang Phyalophora verrucosa, Fonseca pedrosoi, at Cladophila caryonae. Mas madalas ito sa mga tropical regions, lalo na sa mga taong nagtatrabaho na nakayapak or barefoot. Let's now proceed to the next slide po. So, yan, nabanggit ko na rin po yung common species earlier. And infections occur through traumatic implantation, as I've said earlier. And also, the disease is characterized by brown pigmented sclerotic bodies and verrucous, wart-like skin lesions. Yes, I've also nasabi na din po yun earlier, and it occurs worldwide but is more common in barefoot populations in tropical regions. And I hope you remembered that all po na sinabi ko sa about po sa chromoblastomycetes. So let's now proceed to the next slide again. So we pronounce this one as Lacasia. Lacasia. We pronounce that one na ganun po. So, it is caused by Lacasia loboi. It is a chronic subcutaneous fungal infection caused by keloid-like nodules on skin. It is found mainly in tropical regions, especially the Amazon, and it cannot be cultured easily in the laboratory. The fungi is usually found in areas higher than 200 meters with tropical, humid, or subtropical forests. An average temperature an average temperature of 24 degrees Celsius and more than 2,000 mm of annual rainfall. So, let us now talk about the appearance of this one. So, mapapansin nyo sa image, nagkukos ito ng keloid-like nodules sa balat. It looks like a tumor but it's actually a fungal infection. And yung about naman sa environment, yes, common siya sa Amazon region and iba pang tropical areas na may matataas na humidity. And let me tell you some trivia about this. So, naging isang challenge ito sa mga scientists because it cannot be cultured easily sa laboratory. It is a very stubborn fungus po kasi. And next slide. So, next slide po. Mycetomycetes, also known as eumycotic mycetoma. So, these are a group of fungi that cause mycetoma, a chronic subcutaneous infection characterized by inflammation and formation of nodules, cyanosis, and granules in the affected tissues. Next slide. It includes Madurella, Acrimonium, Pseudoleschieria, Exophilia, Leptosphaeria, Curvularia, Fusarium, and Aspergillus. It causes tumefaction and draining cyanosis. Infection by traumatic implantation of the etiologic agent. It also affects skin, subcutaneous tissue, fascia, and bones of the foot or hand. It is common in rural populations. Slowly progressive may cause deformity. So let's now talk about its symptoms. So characterize ito ng tatlong bagay. Tumefaction, also known as swelling, draining cyanosis, mga butas na may lumalabas na fluid, at granules, mga butil-butil na fungi colonies. So ang impact po nito dahil ito ay slowly progressive, maaari itong huminto sa deformity ng paa o kamay dahil kaya nitong sirain pati ang buto. So ang agents po niya is yung mga nasa upper po ng PPT which yung nag-start po sa includes. And common din po ito sa mga farmers. Next slide. So this one, mahirap po siyang i-pronounce, but we pronounce this as pheohyphomycetes. So it is a group of mycotic infections caused by Dematiaceous, also known as brown pigmented fungi, distinguished by the mycelial tissue morphology of the causative organisms. So these are differentiated from other brown pigmented fungal diseases. The first one, mycotic mycetoma, organism forms grains. And the second one, chromoblastomycosis, yung na-discuss po ng first slide, yeah. Organism forms sclerotic bodies. So dito naman po, ang difference po niya sa chromoblastomycosis na may sclerotic bodies, ang pheohyphomycetes po ay nagfo-form ng mycelial tissue or hyphae sa loob ng tissues. Sa clinical forms naman po, pwedeng superficial lang gaya ng tinea nigra or kaya naman ay maging cystic nodules sa ilalim ng balat. Sa malalang cases, pwedeng umabot po ito sa utak or into invasive form po. Next slide, please. Etiological agents include species from genera like Exophilia, Phyllophora bipolaris, Cladosporium, and Alternaria. 71 species from 31 genera were listed as causative agents by Agello 1986. So, nabanggit ko na din po earlier yung clinical forms. As you can see, andyan po yung mga nabanggit ko. And it is found worldwide with higher prevalence in tropical or subtropical regions between 30 and 30. Next slide po. Let's let's now talk about the Esporotrix. So Esporotrix po is ano po siya? Parang meron po siyang kadugtong na scan sche- we pronounce this po as Sporotrix scantiel. It is a thermally dimorphic fungus that causes sporotrichosis or a chronic infection of the skin, subcutaneous tissue, and nearby lymph nodes. It is found worldwide in soil and plant material like peat mass and decomposing plants. Infection usually occurs through cuts or punctures in the skin, often from thorns or plant material. Rarely, it can enter the lungs through inhalation. The infection can cause nodules that may ulcerate and sometimes spread to joints, bones, muscles, or rarely the lungs and central nervous system. So let's now talk about its nature. Ito ay isang thermally dimorphic fungus. Ibig sabihin po, nagbabago ang anyo niya depende sa temperature or mold sa environment, or yeast sa loob ng katawan. So, meron pong mga signs. So, ang classic presentation nito ay nodular lesions along lymphatics. Kung mapapansin niyo sa picture, parang sumusunod yung mga bukol sa daloy ng ugat or also known as the lymphatic spread matapos matusok ng tinik ng rosas or peat moss. Next slide, please. Lastly, let's now talk about the zygomycetes. So these are fast-growing fungi found worldwide. Infections caused by these fungi are called zygomycosis and are generally rare. But they can affect the skin, subcutaneous tissue, sinuses, lungs, or other organs, especially in people with weakened immune systems. So there are two main groups cause infections. So first one is what we call the mucora, mucorales, or I don't know of if how do we pronounce this one? If mucorales or mucorales, I think so. So this can cause subcutaneous and systemic zygomycosis, also known as the mucormycosis. It includes rhizopus, mucor, abscidia, and others. The next one is also known as the entomophthalus, caused by subcutaneous zygomycosis, also known as the entomophthalmycosis. It includes Conidiobolus and Bastidiobolus. So to this one, let us now, yung mucorales po or mucorales po, napaka-aggressive po nito lalo na sa mga immunocompromised o sa mga taong may mga uncontrolled diabetes. Well, the next one po, entomophthalus, ito po ay madalas na nagpo-form ng malalaking firm masses sa ilalim ng mga balat gaya ng nasa image po. Let us now proceed to the next slide.
Cutaneous mycotic affects keratinized tissues such as skin, hair, nails. It is more invasive than superficial infections, but limited to keratinized layers. Cutaneous mycotic causes a wide range of disease such as mild scaling and generalized highly inflammatory. Disease depends on host and fungal factors. For example, species of fungus, host immune status, clothing and footwear. Trauma is important. Fungi enters traumatized skin and multiplies as using keratinize. It does not spread deeper due to possible immunity and serum transferring. Some fungi are commensala, present without causing disease. Cutaneous mycotic does not cause systematic infections. Next slide, please. Systematic mycosis, caused by a small group of fungi with the ability to infect healthy humans. Primary state of infection, respiratory tract, respiratory tract. Fungi must be able to survive body temperature, evades and resists host immune defenses. Next. Next slide. Here are key factors in infecting and pathogenesis. Dimorphism, the ability to change form in body triggered by temperature change to 70 Celsius, 74 Celsius, sorry. It converts the plamid and yeast form for survival defensive against phagocytosis. Defense against phagocytosis contains protein protective capsule allows fungi to live with the host cellular environment of the lungs. Neutralization of reactive oxygen, Folites produced by phagocytic cells.
So, to summarize, ang mga subcutaneous mycosis po ay chronic infections na madalas nakukuha sa environment. Even though mabagal silang lumaki, kailangan pa rin ng tamang diagnosis, maging sclerotic bodies, granules, or dimorphic growth pa man yan. So that tamang gamot yung mabigay sa pasyente and ma-prevent na mas lumala pa yung infections.
Systematic mycosis, pathogenic to man. Next. Aspergillus is a widespread aerobic mold that thrives in oxygen-rich environments. It causes a range of illness called aspergillosis with severity tied to the host. Well, in the specific species involved, common ones include Aspergillus fumigatus, Aspergillus flavus, Aspergillus niger, Aspergillus nidulans, and Aspergillus cereus. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. The, the disease spectrum includes mycotoxicosis from mycotoxicosis from eating contaminated food. Number 2, allergic disease due to Conidia spores or temporary growth in the body openings. Number 3, colonization in free-form cavities or weakened tissues, no spread. Number 4, invasive disease, inflammatory or granulomatous damage to lungs and other organs. Systematic disseminated disease, rare but fatal. Next slide. Pathogenic species and their effects. Aspergillus flavus produce aflatoxin, toxin plus car- carcinogen, contaminates food like nuts. Aspergillus fumigatus, most common cause of allergic aspergillosis. Aspergillus Phlebatus can also trigger allergic disease. Prevention and control. Number one, target targeted intervention. Targeted intervention. Number one, target intervention, aggressive medical or surgical treatment based on infection type. Second, antifungal therapy, concomitant use of systematic, systemic, systemic antifungals to combat mold. Next slide. Blastomesis Blastomyces dermatitis is a dimorphic fungus found in soil. It grows as a mold in soil and convert to a yeast form in the body to cause infection. It leads to blasto, blastomycosis, a chronic granulomatous disease starting in the lungs that can spread to the skin, bones, and central nervous system, or CNS. Next slide, please. Next slide. Coccidioides are dimorphic fungi found in contaminated soil causing coccidioidomycosis, often called valley fever, when spores are inhaled. It is endemic to parts of the Americas, including the southwestern US, Mexico, and Brazil. Next slide, please. High risk, high risk groups are Filipino, high risk of dissemination. Second, African Americans and Mexicans. Third, pregnant women, especially third trimester. Prevention and control. First, amphotericin B therapy. For severe cases, second, azoles, portiazole, first line treatment. Third, caspofungin may be used after amphotericin B in acute pulmonary cases. Fourth, surgery for complications like severe lung disease, bone infection, and hydrocephalus. Next slide, please. Cryptococcus is an cryptococcus. The cryptococcus Cryptococcus is an encapsulated yeast like fungus that primarily affects the respiratory and central nervous system, or CNS. The most important species is Cryptococcus neoformans, the leading cause of fungal meningitis, especially in immunocompromised patient. Cryptococcus neoformans first distribute worldwide. Second, found in pigeon droppings and bird nests. Third, common in immunosuppressed individuals. Fourth, cause meningitis, pulmonary, and disseminated infection. Next slide, please. Cryptococcus, Cryptococcus gattai found in tropical or subtropical areas. Second, often affect incompetent individuals. Third, acquired by inhalation may spread to CNS. Transmi- Transmission, inhalation of airborne spores, or no person-to-person spread. Rare cases via organ transplant. Treatment, aggressive antifungal therapy like amphotericin B and azoles. Prevention and control, aggressive antifungal and antimicrobial therapy. Second, lifelong immunosuppressions. Next slide, please. Histoplasma. Histoplasma or Histoplasma capsulatum is a dimorphic fungus found in soil contaminated with bird and bat droppings. In, it causes histoplasmosis, histoplasmosis and inter- intercellular infection of the reticuloendothelial system acquired by inhaled fungal conidia. It has a worldwide distribution, especially in areas enriched with chicken, starling, or bat excreta. The two the two varieties are similar in mold form but differ in tissue morphology. Next slide, please. Prevention and control include the following: avoid accumulation of bird or bat droppings. Second, antifungal medication to treat severe cases of acute histoplasmosis and all cases of chronic and disseminated disease. Treatment with intraconazole to continue for a year at, a, at least a year in severe cases. In many milder cases, oral intraconazole or ketoconazole is sufficient. Asymptomatic disease is typically not treated. Past infection result in partial protection against ill effects if reinfected.
Okay, next is the hyalohyophomyces. These are the colorless hyaline filamentous fungi that causes hyalophomycosis. They are not brown in tissue, unlike fungi that causes pheohyphomycosis. Examples include Penicillium, Fusarium, Acrimonium, Bavaria, and Scopulariopsis. Infections can be superficial or deep. Next, the
PNIC or low white blood cell count, leukemia, bone marrow transplant, steroid users, chemotherapy patients, and immunocompromised individuals are at high risk, often present with fever and antibiotic treatment failure. Next. Second is paracoccidioides, or the Paracoccidioides brasiliensis is a dimorphic fungus that causes paracoccyte diadomycosis, a chronic disease. The primary infection is usually in the lungs, and it can spread through the mouth, nose, lymph nodes, and digestive tract, causing sores. Next, it is found mainly in South and Central America, especially in coffee and tobacco growing regions, acidic soil, and moderate climates. Disease development is similar to blastomycosis and coccidioidomycosis. Treatment involves supportive care and avoiding smoking and alcohol. Next. Third is the Penicillium marnifaei, a thermally dimorphic fungus that causes penicilliosis, a disseminated infection, particularly in HIV positive individuals in Southeast Asia. Next. Oh no, save it. The yeast form is small and oval, found within immune cells, and the mold forms creates a blue-green powdery colonies with brush-like structures microscopically. Diagnosis uses samples like blood, bone marrow, or tissue. Severe cases are treated with amphotericin B, and for milder cases with oral itraconazole. Higher risk in HIV or AIDS immunocompromised individuals are those with tuberculosis. Symptoms include fever, anemia, enlarged liver, and lymph nodes, so as skin lesions. Next. Lastly is Sutala Sharia and Scedosporium.
Hello? Tapos na ba? Wala na yung ano nyo? Hanggang dyan lang? O
Ma'am,
naghahang...
nag-vlog,
Ma'am, sorry, hindi pa
nag-vlog
po
lang po
na
yung reporter po.
back po yung
Ano yon?
nag-back po saglit yung device na ginamit namin. For continuation, it causes infections ranging from localized mycetoma to severe disseminated diseases affecting the lungs, brain, eyes, bones, skin, and internal organs. Infection occurs by smear inhalation or through injuries. Next, please. High risk and immunocompromised individuals are those with existing lungs or sinus problems. Manifestations include fungus balls in the lungs, ears, or sinuses, pneumonia, sinusitis, bone infections, meningitis, brain abscesses, and skin granulomas. Treatment often involves surgery and antifungal medications like flucytosine, thiabendazole, itraconazole, or terpinifine for 6 to 12 months. And next, next slide.
Okay, so that ends your report regarding fungi. Pwedeng paano na yung presentation nyo? Exit nyo na yung presentation nyo. Okay, so chapter 7 is all about fungi pathogenic to man. Okay, so these fungi are considered group of what? Living organisms, right? So, living organisms yung mga fungi, and it includes yung mga molds, yeast, and mushroom. Okay? And they belong to the kingdom of fungi. Separated sila, they are separated from plants, animals, and bacteria. So that is your fungi. Next. So, fungi, they are not plants, okay? Hindi sila plants. Unlike plants, fungi cannot make their own food using sunlight. They do not perform photosynthesis yung mga fungi. Tapos, they also absorb nutrients. So, how? So, these fungi get food by absorbing nutrients from other organic material. So, ang fungi, hindi nyo sila i-consider na plants. So, they will not undergo the process of photosynthesis. Kung saan doon sila kukuha ng make their own food, unlike sa mga plants. Okay? Tapos, saan sila kukuha sa mga organic material? Gaya ng mga dead plants, food na tinapon, wood, or sometimes yung mga living organisms. So, doon nag-aano ng saan sila kukuha ng mga nutrients. What else? Ang mga fungi, so hindi ito nabanggit doon sa introduction nyo, made up of tiny filaments. So, fungi grow as microscopic threads. So, meron sila, pag tinignan nyo yan sa microscope, may makikita yung part ng fungi that is known as hyphae, which form a network Yung tawag doon is mycelium. Mycelium. So, meron kayong structure na hyphae, HYPHAE, tapos yung network nyo, ng form ng network nyo, tinatawag na mycelium. MYCELIUM. Now, paano ang production or reproduction ng fungi? Gamit nila yung spores. So, that is how the fungi reproduce. Instead of seeds or yung fungi mag-spread ng releasing a tiny spores that can grow into a new fungi. So, spores yun na hindi yung sa mga seeds gaya ng mga halaman. Kaya ang fungi hindi sila considered na halaman. Now, ang pinaka-common dyan, yung tatlo lang, yung mushroom, yung molds, at saka yung yeast. So, yung mushroom, the visible fruiting bodies of some fungi. Tapos yung molds, fuzzy fungi that grow on food or damp surfaces. Ang yeast naman, single-celled sila, fungi using in baking and fermentation. Yan yung ginagamit nila sa paggawa ng tinapay. Okay? Tapos, mga examples natin na edible na mushroom, yung tinatawag na Agaricus bisporus. Tapos, yung mold to produce the antibiotic penicillin, that is penicillin. Ano naman ang role ng fungi sa ecosystem? Ano ang role nila? Anybody from the group? Based doon sa na-research nyo, doon sa report nyo, bakit importante ang mga fungi? Ano yung role nila sa ecosystem o kaya sa human life? Anong nangyayari dyan? Di ba, meron tayong tinatawag na decomposition. Ang ibig sabihin nun, breakdown ng mga dead plants and animals. Then, recycling yung nutrients nila. Some sa medicine. Kasi some fungi produce antibiotic just like your penicillin. Okay. So, yun yung mga ng fungi. Tapos, ano yung mga common na diseases sa mga fungi? Usually, nakikita sa Philippines. So, these are the following common diseases in the Philippines that are caused by fungi. So, we have several fungal infections. So, meron kayong sinabi dyan sa report nyo, yung mycosis, superficial, ganon. So, we have fungal infection and that is known as mycosis. So, this infection usually often affect yung pinaka-common na parts of the body, gaya ng skin, nails, lungs, or mouth. Kagaya ng ringworm. Siya yung pinaka-very common na fungal skin infection, usually caused by fungi. Ringworm. Yan yung may parang bakit tinawag na ringworm kasi umiikot yan. Mapula yan. So it is usually caused by dermatophyte fungi. I repeat, ringworm is a very common fungal skin infection that is usually caused by dermatophyte fungi such as trichophyton and microsporum. Trichophyton. Trichophyton. Microsporum. Microsporum. Okay. Ito yung mga local names niya dito, yung ringworm. Yung buni. Ringworm on the skin. Tapos alipunga. Pag palagi kayo nakuha sa tubig, magkakaroon kayo ng alipunga or that is known as your athlete's foot. So that is usually caused by fungi. So fungal infection yun sa mga skin. So pag may alipunga or buni, may mga red circular rashes, pabilog yan, tapos makati, itching and scaling skin. And sometimes nagka-crack between toes pag may alipunga. Okay. Paano ang transmission yan? Skin-to-skin contact o kaya yung nagsishare ng mga towel, damit. Yung mahilig humiram ng mga damit. Okay. Next. you have sabi natin meron pa tayong yung tinea pedis. Ito yung tinatawag na athlete's foot. This infection usually affects siyempre feet, especially between the toes. So anong causative agent? Dermatophyte fungi such as Trichophyton rubrum. Trichophyton rubrum. So itchy yung feet, tapos peeling or cracked skin. So magiging dry, parang nagbabalat yan. Ano pa? May burning sensation. Oh. Bakit common yan sa Pilipinas? Due to the weather, hot weather, o kaya yung palaging basa yung paa, or you're wearing closed shoes for a long period of time. Gumagamit kayo ng mga closed shoes na matagal, tapos pinapawisan yung paa, saka yung pag mainit ang panahon, kaya nga nagkakaroon ng athlete's foot. Ano pa? We have candidiasis. Yan naman ay isang yeast infection. Candidiasis, yeast infection naman yan. So, this infection is usually caused by yeast from yung genus na Candida, especially Candida albicans. Candida, especially Candida albicans. So, may mga types tayo. Pwede sa mouth, tinatawag na oral thrush. Yung may mga white patches sa mouth. Tapos meron din sa vagina, vaginal yeast infection. Skin candidiasis, mostly sa moist area. Ano mga palaging pinapawisan? Sa mga groin at saka sa armpit. Diyan nagkakaroon ng candidiasis. That is usually caused by Candida albicans. Anong symptoms? White patches sa mouth. So may makikita kang puti-puti. Red, itchy na skin. And then, nagkakaroon ng thick discharge sa usually sa vaginal infection. Okay. Another one. Ito naman, infection that is usually caused by molds such as aspergillus. So, ang tawag doon, aspergillosis. Okay? So, aspergillus naman yan, molds naman ang nagiging cause niya. So, how does it spread? People inhale fungal spores from dust or soil. Symptoms, cough, shortness of breath, at saka fever. So, ito, natatamaan yung mga tao na weak yung immune system nila o kaya yung may mga lung diseases. Another na common na fungal infection usually caused by fungus. It is, tinatawag nila itong Rose Gardiner's disease. Rose, R-O-S-E. Gardiner's disease. Yan yung Sporotrix skinchi. Spell ko na lang parang mahirap. S-P-O-R-O-T-H-R-I-X tapos S-C-H-E-N-C-K-I-I. Repeat. S-P-O-R-O-T-H-R-I-X S-C-H-E-N-C-K-I. Anong tawag dyan? Other term niya, Rose Gardiner's disease. Paano nyo nakukuha yan sa mga cuts, yung naputol na halaman from plants, soil, or thorns? So, ano ang mga symptoms? Yan yung may pinakita kayo kanina na itsura yan, yung parang, parang tuloy-tuloy na, parang siyang parang longganisa na may na may sugat. So, small, painless bumps on the skin. Tapos, meron siyang lesions that spread along the lymph vessels. So, yan lang yung mga common na nakikita dito sa Pilipinas, yung caused by fungal infection. The other fungal infections, just like your dandruff, common din yan. So marami nagkakaroon ng dandruff. Basahin nyo na lang yun nandun sa libro nyo at saka yung mga nireport nila. So additional lang itong mga common na nakikita sa Pilipinas. These are the diseases that are usually common in the Philippines and they are caused by fungi. So nagkakaroon ng fungal infection. Ngayon, ang management nito kasi pag nagkaroon ng fungal infection, it is more on improper personal hygiene kaya dapat magpalinis yung mga tao to prevent fungal infection. Lalo na pwede rin sa lahat ng parte ng katawan. Pero common sa mga skin, sa mga nails, at saka sa scalp. Lalo na yung sa dandruff. So pag may dandruff yung isang tao, huwag mahiling humiram ng suklay, humiram ng towel, o kaya humiram ng damit. So that is how na nakakahawa yung mga fungal infection. Okay, clear? Do you have any question with chapter 7? So maybe next week, inform ko kayo kasi mag-schedule tayo ng laboratory. So our next laboratory will be gram staining and acid fast. So just wait for my announcement. Kung matutuloy tayong maglalab sa second floor ulit sa may micro. Okay?
Noted po, ma'am.
Okay. So pwede na mag-log out.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Bye-bye.